playoff run after 2 straight early exits.
It's some realistic pressure on Lamar Jackson, and I think Lamar knows that. I think Lamar can look at the last 3 games that he's played, and, he can kind of marvel his game after that. He's done well in the passing game. He's been a sensational passer, and he's been, the ultimate dual threat as a runner. That's going to have to be on full display. I don't think any team wants to see this Baltimore Ravens team in the playoffs, but for Lamar, after the early exits, the last 2 seasons, and it hasn't been good play in the playoffs for him. This is the time to show and prove, and I think he used this weekend as a stepping stone. Once he gets into the playoffs, because I do think they get in, then he has to turn it up to a whole different level and show us what Lamar Jackson is really about. Like I said, no team wants to face this guy. It's hard to defend probably one of the greatest or second greatest dual threat quarterbacks to ever play the game. So, he's in prime position. I think the team understands, what direction they need to go in. I think the coaches have reevaluated all the things that has made them successful, and they put it on full display. But ultimately, Lamar has the ball in his hands, and it's going to be up to Lamar, to take this team to where they need to go. And it's not going to be an easy task. I think the AFC Championship game is or nothing for Lamar this year. And he'll tell you that. He feels that. So, that pressure is real.
They compared him to you. The 7. This guy, Mike Vick, for an entire season last year in terms of him being the next iteration of that next level athlete playing at the quarterback's position. And he delivered. And what's different this year than last year was he delivered on such a high level that he won the league MVP, that his team was a top-rated seed going into the playoffs. We're talking about pressure for the playoffs. They're not even in them yet. They have not even clinched a position in the playoffs yet, people. Hey, Crow, I don't know about you, but last time I checked, them Cincinnati Bengals, they on the street.
Oh, don't do that.
Steelers. They just beat they beat the Steelers, and they beat the Texans. Now, you may say with the Texans, all right, hey, you can beat the Texans.
All
right. But they beat the Steelers. And here's what's impressive about them beating the Steelers is that they created a longer losing streak for the Steelers. That was supposed to be a losing streak snap. All right. So when I look at this Bengals team, they're not as far away as we mentioned before. They're not a horrible team. I sit here and I suspect this is going to be a very stressful weekend for Lamar Jackson, because not only is he not in the conversation for being an MVP this year, but you got to win to get in, and it's against a familiar opponent. It's not going to be an easy deal.
Cincinnati Bengals.
Let's get into the playoffs first before it's AFC divisional or bust.
Thank you. You got to get into the playoff first. And the way Cincinnati defense, man, playing the last 2 weeks, man, been playing sensational. One, they've been playing physical. You got to think, this game against Cincinnati is going to be very physical, because it's like, look, if I got to go home, you going home. And at the end of the day, and that's what it's about. That's what football is about. If we ain't going to the playoffs, you definitely ain't going to go. We will not let you win. I think that's the mentality that Cincinnati's going to bring into this game. But the other thing about Lamar is, yes, he has all the accolades during the season. He can do everything during the season. But when he gets into a playoff game, the game changes. And y'all know this. You can keen in on everything that somebody does great and take it away. Okay, you can't go into a playoff game and your number 1 receiver is Andrews, the tight end. You cannot have a number 1 receiver and Andrews being your number 1 receiver. That's the only person you can really throw it to, because Hollywood Brown can't get open. He can't get off a press. He can't do this. He can't do that. He only can run down the seam. So if you can't, Lamar Jackson can't throw outside of numbers. I haven't seen him throw great outside the numbers. So when you keen into that and you can make him one-dimensional, what do you see? You got to understand, when we're going into this playoffs, man, we keen on the things that you do well. And now we're going to make sure we take all that stuff away. So you want to throw the 7 route, you want to throw the seam routes to tight ends, we're going to take it away. We want to try to scramble and get outside the pocket. We're not going to rush above your shoulders. What we're going to do is keep you in the pocket and make you step up and have somebody spine on you and hit you dead in the mouth when you step up in the pocket. So it's little things like that that teams are doing when you get into the playoffs against Lamar, and you see why he struggles. It's not the point that he's not trying to do. He's doing the same thing he's been doing all year, but teams keen into what you're doing into the playoffs a lot more than it is during the season.
Well, I tell you what, if he play like he played the last 3 games, then it's going to be ugly for anybody that they face moving forward. And like we talked about.
Mike, he did that last year.
Yeah, but before they get in, they got to win this weekend, right?
They got to win this weekend.
You're right.
His greatest highlight, the greatest highlight of his career came against the Cincinnati Bengals last year. And that was the one we had the spin movement, and he embarrassed about 5 or 6 guys. You know what they got to do? Cincinnati Bengals got to watch that film repeatedly throughout the week. This will be the last day, and they'll watch it again tomorrow.
I'm sure they have.
They're going to be shaking in their boots.
A little bit of redemption. I don't know that it's shaking.
They're going to be shaking.
I don't know about shaking.
I don't know that it's shaking.
Listen, I don't know about shaking.
He's going to do it to him again, whether at home or
Mike,
on the road.
Crow, tell him about when people like Mike Vick do that, when they did that to us. We got to come get you.
You got to understand how this team is playing right now. They playing with a little confidence. Like y'all said before, the Cincinnati team has got something. Listen, y'all said it earlier on the show.
Who cares?
It don't matter.
Who's the quarterback?
It don't matter.
Who cares?
Defense win games. Defense.
I care.
Defense is going to win this game. And the pressure is on Lamar Jackson. And that's a whole lot of pressure. You got to get in before you can be in. If you knew better, you do better. They better get it right. I'll tell you like this, because it's going to be a whole lot. You said a whole lot of smoke.
I
see a whole lot of smoke.
I see L-Jack highlights written all over this one. You said what, Crow?
You know how hard it is to get into them playoffs.
No.
And now you're playing against divisional round at the end of the year. You're playing against divisional round opponents again at the end of the year. We know each other. We know the ins and outs of the game, what you can do good and what you don't. So this is a playoff game for Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's definitely a playoff game.
And
Cincinnati, you know, a lot of those guys over there, they over there playing for their jobs.
Yeah.
You know, so it's going to be intense. It's going to be a tough game, but, man, let me tell you something. When you look at that film and you see a guy shaking and baking and moving and grooving, I mean, they're going to halt and they're going to stop in their tracks. When Lamar run up on them, they stopping in their tracks. They're not committing.
What do you do to that? Hit him right in the mouth.
You got to hit him.
You got to dive.
You got to hit him.
You got to dive. You just got to dive. And then, look, listen, maybe I'm up here speaking out of turn because I'm no defensive player by any stretch. I'm always offensive biased, but I respect what you guys do. And I respect what y'all say.
I'm not diving. I'm hunting. And when I hunt,
yeah, I know. Y'all left me with a sore back for 4 months.
Yes, I did it with the real one. I was able to get a hold of the real one. Let's see if Cincinnati gets the next one.
Who's the culprit, bro?
Lamar, I think this might be the first time I say at this show, I agree with you. I do. The pressure is on. The pressure is on this weekend. But as you said, has to win first. Can't have the conversation until you get in. You got to win.
That's right, Al.